You know those little habits we all have? The ones we kind of think of as personal flaws? Well, what if they aren't flaws at all? Today, we're diving into the mind's hidden armor. These really sophisticated defense mechanisms our brains create to keep us safe.
Okay, so picture this. You're about to go on a trip, or maybe you're heading into a big presentation at work, and suddenly your mind just floods with every single thing that could possibly go wrong. You start mentally rehearsing every potential disaster. Sound familiar? Or, hey, maybe this is more your style. You finally get that promotion, you crush a huge goal you've been working on, and instead of celebrating, you just get quiet. You downplay it. Maybe you don't even tell anyone. Well, if any of that rings a bell, here is the absolute key insight we're going to unpack. These behaviors, they're not signs that you're negative or that you lack confidence. Nope. Psychology actually shows they are incredibly sophisticated shields your brain has built. So let's take a look at two of the most common ones.
First up, let's tackle that habit of always planning for the worst. Most people would just write it off as being a pessimist, but psychology has a much more interesting and, honestly, a much more accurate name for it.
And this is a really crucial distinction to make. This isn't about having a generally negative outlook on life. It's something very specific, a strategy your mind is using called defensive pessimism. So what is it? Well, defensive pessimism is an active strategy. By letting your mind run through all the worst-case scenarios, your brain gets this weird sense of control over potential chaos. It's kind of like a mental fire drill, right? It preps your nervous system so that if something does go wrong, the emotional shock isn't nearly as bad. It's a shield. It's protection. All right, now for the second shield. This one is even more subtle, and it's what we're going to call the quiet defense. And this one isn't about preparing for failure. It's all about how we deal with success. The quiet defense is that powerful, almost automatic impulse to hide your wins. And let's be clear, this is way more than just being humble. It is a deep, subconscious strategy to protect yourself from the possible negative side effects of success. So the big question is, what on earth is your brain trying to protect you from? Well, it turns out there are 5 core reasons our minds do this. And honestly, just understanding them can be a total game changer. So let's break them down one by one. Okay, reason number 1. This one goes deep. It's all about our roots and that fundamental human need for belonging. Think about it. Success can be kind of isolating. It can create distance between you and the people you love, your old habits, the life you're used to. So even if you desperately want that success, there's a part of your brain that is terrified of leaving that comfort and familiarity behind. At its core, you subconsciously pump the brakes on your own celebration because you are afraid of the social cost, that risk of making the people around you feel like you're leaving them in the dust. All right, reason number 2. This one shifts the focus away from other people and looks inward at our own sense of self. We talk all the time about the fear of failure, right? But the fear of success is just as real and just as powerful. You might worry that achieving your big goal will actually change you for the worse. Maybe it'll make you busier, more stressed, or just different from the person you are right now. So you see, your mind isn't resisting the achievement itself. What it's really resisting is the identity shift that it thinks will come along with it. By hiding your win, you're trying to protect the person you already know how to be. Now for number 3. This one is absolutely fascinating, especially for anyone who considers themselves a highly empathetic person. So if you're a super aware person, you don't just notice other people's emotions, you kind of absorb them. It's like you can feel them in your own body. So when you share your good news, you might instantly sense someone's flash of jealousy or sadness, especially if they're going through a rough patch. And that can feel really overwhelming. When you boil it all down, this is actually a profoundly empathetic act. You instinctively downplay your own joy to protect the emotional balance of the room and to shield others from feeling bad about themselves. Okay, on to number 4. This reason gets into the intense and often unexpected pressure that comes along with achievement. As long as you're working towards a goal, you can kind of hide behind your potential. But the second you achieve it, bam, you're visible, you're out in the open. People can now judge your actual results. And for a lot of us, that level of exposure is just plain terrifying. To put it bluntly, success removes your excuses. There's no more "I'm trying" or "one day." There's only "I did it." And the pressure to maintain that can feel enormous. Hiding it is a way to stay safe and out of that spotlight. And that brings us to our final reason, number 5. This one gets to the very core of how we connect with other people and where we subconsciously believe our value really comes from. So many of us learn from a young age that our value comes from being helpful, from being the fixer, the one people can rely on. But when you achieve something big, you might not need as much help yourself. And this can trigger a deep-seated fear that if you're no longer needed, people won't know how to relate to you anymore. And so what happens is you hide your success and you keep focusing on helping everyone else. Because deep down, you subconsciously believe that being useful is your ticket to belonging. It's how you secure your place in the lives of the people you care about most. So let's just bring this all together for a second. If you recognize yourself in any of this, if you're someone who hides your success, please know this. It is not a flaw. It doesn't mean you lack confidence or ambition. It is a highly empathetic, deeply protective strategy your brain came up with to keep you safe. So you see, whether you're the one who's always planning for the worst or the one who's hiding your biggest wins, these behaviors are almost never the weaknesses we think they are. They are the mind's hidden armor, brilliantly designed to protect your identity, your relationships, and your emotional well-being. Just recognizing these patterns, that's the huge first step. But the real question, the one this leaves us with, is a personal one. The next time you feel those shields going up, it's worth taking a moment to ask yourself, what is my mind really trying to protect me from right now?